Hello YouTube! In this video of SimCity, which is the first SimCity video I'm putting out since the release, I will be teaching you a quick tutorial about how to get some high density buildings back to back from each other without any space in between. Such as in the example here we have a nice high tower and some medium density right behind it, without any room for additional buildings behind it. Let me see if I can find some more examples. Ah, here's a nice one. Here we have four high density buildings, all in one square without any small buildings in between or whatever. It's all, you know, quite neatly arranged like a proper city would, except for this little patch of green here. So I'm going to teach you how to do that, because the game does not natively let you do that very easily. The road guides are a big help, admittedly, but they are not perfect, and I'll show you how I mean that. Let's start with an avenue over here. If we were to use the road guides, we would select the high density street, we would hover over the avenue, and the avenue would tell us to lay down the high density street right here. Thank you, achievement, for getting in my recording. Go away. Thank you. Okay, so this is the road guide that the avenue told us would be optimal for you know, city spacing. And that's all fine and dandy, but let's see what happens if we want to zone some residential. If you use the residential tool or any zone tool really, and you go past one of the avenues, it will give you this little bright green indicator at the end of the zone, to the left, to the right of my mouse. There's a solid green bar. That bar represents the maximum depth that your residential or whatever zone that buildings can grow to. So if it's green, that means that the zone can be the maximum size. So that would be one of these squares of this size. If we go to the street, we have the same, you know, same idea. It's using maximum depth, but there's only one problem. If we use this maximum depth, that's fine and dandy, but this maximum depth overlaps the other one. So that's not really what we're after, because that means we can only have high density buildings on one side of this, you know, block of road. If I were to connect this like this, you know, we can only have this side full of high density or this side full of high density, because on this side, on the other side, there wouldn't be any room left. So that's a problem. So let's get rid of the roads here. Don't have too much room, unfortunately. Let's see what happens when we do it with the avenues. With the avenues you get a little more room, because for some reason they just figure, well, avenues take more space, so we need to attribute more room to it. So let's see what happens when we use an avenue. If we use an avenue, and I'm going to connect it with the regular road, let's see how many high density buildings we can get back to back this way. We can do it one on this side, and as you can see there's still plenty of room on the other side. Problem is, there's still the slightest of spaces in between them. Can you tell? Right in the middle. So while this is, you know, already an improvement, it does require to have two avenues which both take up quite a lot of space, which is not, you know, the map's already tiny, we don't have too much room to build with, and just throwing down avenues everywhere just because the road guides are optimal for those is not not optimal, it's not efficient. And in this small little area, because Max is just you know, gave us small maps instead of the bigger ones. We want to use all the space we have as efficiently as possible. So how are we going to do that? We need to use high density roads, and oh yeah, let me just give you one more example. If we use road on roads, if we were to use roads on roads, the guide would be this distance right here, this line, and in between these roads fits exactly one high density building. If I were to let me see, make this and fill in this. This square holds exactly one high density building, medium or high density, because they are the same size in square footage. So that's all great and dandy. We can just, you know, make the little squares, and we have one high density building here, one the high density building here. But what if we don't want this middle street here? You know, we just want, we don't want an intersection every few feet, because that just creates traffic and stuff. Nobody likes traffic that much. So we want to do it this way. So we have one high density building over here, and we have another over here, and then we have the space in between that just has some small buildings like this, which is not what we want to do. So to fix this little problem, we get rid of the roads. We want a square or a block of buildings that is divided as efficiently as humanly possible, because we want to use the space as efficiently as we can. So if you go to the parks, let me see, nature, and these little strips of trees, this tall tree row, short tree row, and the tree-lined walkway, the wavy tree-lined walkway. These parks are exactly 24 meters deep, which is exactly the depth of one high-density building, which I'm gonna show you. If you put that down right here, we have this little park. You can just plop this down at any road. It's an avenue or a normal road or a low-density road, whatever. Doesn't really matter. If you were to go back to the residential and put it next to it, you can see that one high-density building is exactly the same depth as the park that we put next to it. So that's good. That means that if we put two parks there, and if we just double click on it, we can you can daisy chain the parks to each other. If you put another one behind it, and it doesn't matter which one you choose, you can delete them later if you want. You can just connect this to the main road, and this is important. You have to disable the guides down here and just do this manually a bit. Get as close to the park as possible, and this is too close, so go a little bit further away, still a little bit further away, might get a little bit closer still, and I think this is about right. You can just do this, do that. And what happens now, just gonna delete the parks. And we're gonna delete the zones for a little bit so I can show you properly. Go away, houses, nobody wants you. Now if we go to the zoning tool, we'll see that there's essentially no space between the zones. We have room for two buildings and two buildings only. And if you want to really, you know, make this super efficient, you have to place the parks both vertically and horizontally, or well, the other way around. So like this at first, and then this way. So you can calculate exactly how many buildings you can fit in one block size. The result of this, if you were to you know, fill this in, First you'd get something like this. I've used the same method on this city block right here, and it's still low density at the moment. This block right here has already gone through some upgrades. This has already upgraded. It's the same size, as you can see, and this was just upgrading, and you can see that the buildings are spaced perfectly apart. Well, almost perfectly. It's not an exact science, but it's a lot more efficient than having a space as big as the road go between them, because you're using the road guides. And most perfectly, you want something like this right here, where 4 buildings sit cozy next to each other. And this should have enough room to upgrade, but it's not yet, because people are not happy enough yet. This little square right here should have exactly enough room for 4 high density buildings. And the advantage that this gives you is that you have less intersections. So you don't have an intersection after every high density building. Instead you have one intersection after every 2 high density buildings. So I hope this helped you. I hope I made myself clear. I'm not always the best at explaining things, so I hope I made myself very clear in that aspect. Just gonna delete this so I can continue with my little city here. And I wish you the best of luck playing SimCity, and I hope this strategy will help you get more solid, more efficient cities in the future. Enjoy playing the game, and if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below and like the video. Thank you very much for watching.